organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Headed your way tonight on Daily Iowan TV, UI President Bruce Harreld sat down with Daily Iowan TV for a Q&A. Find out what he had to say next.
And we will give you the latest on the status of the UI's emerald ash tree population later.
Things were cold and dreary last week in Iowa City, and things are clearing up. We'll stick around. Tune out to find out more on my weather forecast coming up.
Baseball and softball coming up later on in sports.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Katie Reber.
And I'm Taylor Brooks.
Bruce Harreld remains in the limelight of student and faculty conversations on campus at the UI. Monday, he sat down with Daily Iowan TV for a one-on-one conversation covering a wide variety of issues. The topic of free speech on campus took center stage as President Harreld gave his idea of what free speech should look like.
Well, first of all, I think as long as it doesn't trip across any legal barriers, our country's been founded on the notion of free speech. So I think we have to start with that.
President Harreld did mention there are some gray areas relating to offensive speech, but that he hopes a dialogue will allow everyone's voice to be heard. He also cleared up the questions regarding his promised town hall meetings.
Many people said that they felt that it was unfortunate to do it this time of year with graduation, finals, grading, it's everyone going on. So we decided actually to push it off a little bit.
President Harreld said he plans to hold the next town hall in the coming weeks. The topic of funding was also brought up, in which President Harreld alluded to another possible tuition increase in the coming years. He also spoke on reallocating funds to better suit the university's needs.
I think faculty salaries is one of the reasons we've lost so many ranks in AAU or U.S. News and World Reports. So I think it's real important. We need to fix it.
President Harreld also spoke on the rebuilding of Seashore Hall, in which he said he was embarrassed to have students and parents there and that he thinks the UI can do better. The interview wrapped up on the issues of the strategic planning and budgeting process. President Harreld said he thinks heading into the summer, the 5-year plan won't be complete, but still a great start heading into fall. Check out tomorrow's edition of the Daily Iowan for more on the Q&A with President Harreld.
Market Madness has begun in Coralville. Monday marked the kickoff of the Coralville Farmers Market season. The market, located in St. Morris Park in Coralville, features a wide variety of local produce and goods for sale. The market will also have live music from local musicians, as well as special nights that offer a theme for market goers to get involved in. Be sure to tune into Thursday's edition of Daily Iowan TV for a full recap of the market's first week.
The University of Iowa is known for being a prestigious research institution, but it is not often mentioned when a study goes wrong. The UI Dental School released a public apology Monday after nearly 100 child patients came into contact with an unsafe amount of nitrous oxide. The school was conducting a study from early March to mid-April when a contractor mistakenly substituted oxygen with nitrous oxide. The school says the patients face an extremely small risk for long-term health problems.
Outside of academia, the UI is also known as one of the nation's most reputable party schools. Underage students are commonly given tickets if found in bars, but this weekend was a different story. The Iowa City arrest blotter shows that no Paula's or being in the bar past 10 tickets were given this weekend, but a surprising number of public intoxication charges were filed. Of the 11 filed offenses, 5 were given to underage drinkers, while 6 people of the legal age were cited on their walks home. 4 of the offenders were also ticketed for other charges.
The issue of drinking may be more of a state problem rather than a college crime. An article published in the Des Moines Register says that drunk driving deaths have increased from last year by 124. The increased number has become a trend over the past several years, but less drivers are having their licenses taken following drunk driving incidents. Close to 4,000 less licenses were revoked by the state than in 2012.
Have you happened to notice a lot of trees being cut down recently on campus? A rare insect known as the emerald ash borer was found on the campus at the UI, and it is a threat to the population of ash trees. In efforts to keep the natural beauty of campus, university officials are working to replant a more diverse tree population. Daily Iowan TV reporter Feng-Ye Shane reports on the future of the UI's tree population.
If you walk on the campus recently, you can find a lot of cutting trees. So what had happened because the school had found some insect on the ash tree.
The insect gets into the trees and cut down the way for the trees to get the water from the ground.
To the tree is, if you imagine a tree's vascular system like a series of straws, the insect will cut through those, cutting off the nutrients and water supply. So the tree basically dies of starvation and or droughts.
How do the people deal with the cutting tree? First, they will send the cutting tree to the power line. Second, they will replace the diversity of trees to replace the place of the ash tree.
We'd like to possibly see it burnt in the power plant, so we have some use for it. We're not just paying to get rid of these chips. And then once those trees are removed, the stumps are ground, we're going to replace with not one species. That's what got us into trouble to begin with.
In fact, planting a diversity of trees will be benefit for the students in campus. The trees is beautiful and created a fresh air. Students can feel more comfortable to be in campus.
Campus atmosphere. When you walk onto campus and there's all this beautiful canopy of trees in our parks and along the river, it just is a nice atmosphere to be in.
In order to replace the place of the old trees, the school is planting the old trees in this campus, and hopefully 14 years after, we can see the trees can grow up and benefit for the campus. Molly Shi from Daily Iowa.
I've honestly seen so many trees being cut down, especially over by Mayflower, but honestly, those new trees aren't really going to bloom if we don't get any sunshine here soon.
I know. I certainly hope we do, and some warmer temperatures would be great as well.
Yep.
Let's toss it over to Sydney Zatz in the weather studio to tell us more.
Things were rainy and dreary last week, but now it's starting to clear up, guys. Tuesday morning will start off the day at 44 degrees with clear skies. We'll then bump up into the low 60s with partly cloudy skies, and we'll stay there throughout the evening. For the rest of the week, temps will range in the low to mid 60s throughout the day and the low to mid 40s throughout the evening. Friday will be a beautiful day to study outside as we will bump all the way up to 78 degrees. Our high this weekend will be in the low 80s on Saturday, and our evenings will be in the mid 50s, but there is a 40 to 60% chance of rain. Now, unfortunately, lots of rain can bring flooding into some parts. In the last 16 months alone, nearly 200 people in the U.S. have died due to floods, including 14 in Texas last month. Floods are said to be the second most deadly weather-related event, coming in second to extreme heat. That's weather for this week. Katie and Taylor, back to you at the desk.
Out of all the Big Ten schools, Iowa has the lowest number of counselors on staff. As it stands now, there are a total of 12 full-time counselors. This means there is one counselor for 2,750 students. In response to the need for more counselors on campus, the UI plans to hire 8 additional counselors. 4 new counselors are expected to begin working by fall 2016, and the rest will begin by fall 2017. At least one counselor will be located at an East Side residence hall for easy access to first-year students. The hiring of 8 additional counselors will move Iowa out of last place in the number of mental health staffers at Big Ten schools.
Tensions between the United States and Cuba continue to ease. Carnival Cruise Lines made a historic trip on Monday that will help to better the relationship between the two countries. The Carnival cruise ship Adonia docked in the Cuban capital of Havana, becoming the first U.S. cruise ship to do so in nearly 40 years. Hundreds of Cubans greeted the ship and its nearly 700 passengers. While the Adonia was the first U.S. ship to port in Cuba, other cruise lines are set to follow suit. Officials say the reopening of cruise travel to Cuba is expected to bring in some serious dollars for the Cuban government, an expected $80 million a year. Well, there's some exciting news here at the University of Iowa, specifically towards football.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Let's toss it over to Zach Mackey in the sports studio to give us the latest.
That's right, ladies. An exciting announcement for the Iowa football team on their upcoming season. A long-awaited face-off against the Michigan Wolverines for the first time under now head coach Jim Harbaugh. This game was also announced that it will be played under the lights. The game will be played here at Kinnick in primetime as one of Iowa's few night games of the year. Now, the Hawkeyes are looking to bounce back after having 2 night games last year. The game will be broadcasted live as well on either ESPN, ABC, or ESPN2. The game will take place on Saturday, November 12th, and there will be a blackout game. It will be the blackout game for the Iowa football season. Taking things back to current Iowa sports, the Iowa men's tennis team took to the court this past weekend at the Big Ten tournament quarterfinals up at the University of Minnesota. There, the 73rd ranked Iowa team faced the 24th ranked Michigan team, who took the win over the Hawks 4-1. This loss ended Iowa's season with a 12-17 record overall, with a silver lining for the Hawkeyes as 5 of those 12 victories were against nationally ranked opponents. The Iowa baseball team took to Kansas Saturday on Sunday, finishing out a close and seemingly low-scoring series. While the Hawkeyes won the first game 2-1, it was the Wildcats that took home the series with a 4-2 win later on Sunday. The Iowan TV baseball reporter Jordan Maloney has more on the soggy series.
It was a dreary weekend at Dwayne Banks Field as the Iowa baseball team fought off more than just rain. With a close loss on Friday and a rain out on Saturday, Sunday's doubleheader seemed to follow the same pattern. While the Hawkeyes couldn't seem to put enough runs on the scoreboard, Iowa's pitching stayed strong throughout the series. But the Hawkeyes grabbed the win in the first game of Sunday's doubleheader with a solo home run in the 7th inning from center fielder Joel Booker and impressive pitching from sophomore relief pitcher Nick Gallagher.
My goal is just basically perform well whenever the coach calls my name. It doesn't matter if I'm starting or in the bullpen. Just try to do as best I can and try to limit free bases and just pound the zone.
Gallagher pitched 7 innings in relief, allowing only 2 hits, 0 runs, striking out 5, walking 0, and at one point retiring 13 straight Wildcats.
Change speeds and pitched well, so tip your hat to him. But we had, some at bats that weren't very good in key situation by our best guys, and you get beat when that happens.
And as was the story for the Hawkeyes this series, they were less than efficient at bat with runners in scoring position.
I mean, it's definitely disappointing. You work pretty hard at trying not to do that, and then when it happens, it makes you wonder if you're getting through to them.
This has been Jordan Maloney with Daily Iowan TV Sports.
The Hawkeyes head back to the field for their final non-conference home game on Tuesday at Dwayne Banks Field before heading to Columbus, Ohio for a 3-game Big Ten series with Ohio State. From baseball, we toss it over to softball field, where the Iowa women's softball team had a little bit of a shortcoming this weekend as the ladies took on Illinois this past weekend and dropped the final game 0-8 in just 5 innings on Sunday afternoon. That loss gave the Illini the 3-game sweep over the Hawkeyes. Illinois started the game 3 off with a bang, taking 6 runs by the bottom of the first inning and taking the rest of their 2 runs in the 5th. Iowa pitcher Shayla Starkenberg allowed 6 runs on 3 hits and 3 innings while she was in the circle, while Illinois pitcher Aaron Riding kept Iowa to no runs on the mound, and Illini's Jade Venkakis held Iowa to just 2 hits over 5 pitched innings. The Hawkeyes return to action this Tuesday, heading to Ames for the Cy-Hawk series against the Iowa State Cyclones. That's all we have for today in sports. Back to you two at the desk.
Thanks, Zach. That is all the time we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV. Tune in to tomorrow as we will give you a look at the minimum wage increase in Johnson County and talk about how the controversial topic of gender-neutral bathrooms is playing out at the UI.
You can also check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Katie Reber.
And I'm Taylor Brooks. Have an excellent night, Iowa City.